Chapman, Pete Futak join us. And I want to ask you about Michael Sam.
Yep.
Make the case against him and for him here.
Well, here's the problem now. If you look at the film on him, yes, he's great. He was great this year at Mizzou. For the first half of the season, was erased pretty much for the second half of the year. The problem is, and now we're just focusing on Michael Sam, the football player, forgetting the outside stuff here. He had the worst workout by any defensive end there. It's by the numbers. There's no question about it. He was awful. Lewis Nix came into this combine at 330 pounds on a bad knee, and he came up with a 25.5-inch vertical jump. That's what Michael Sam came up with as well. Michael Sam was slow. He couldn't move, had the definition of tight hips, is not an outside linebacker, can't drop back in coverage. He couldn't move at all, couldn't jump. Awful rep. And yes, the bench press is overrated, but still, 17 reps, that's way too low for an NFL defensive lineman. And the big problem is, he said, I can move forward fast. Well, the problem is he couldn't. It was a bad 40 time. And so we're all rooting for him. Everyone wants to see him succeed, obviously, for the obvious reasons. But as far as a pure prospect, he went from, in the beginning of the offseason process, from a third rounder. Now, if he doesn't make it on special teams, I don't know if he makes a team.
You know, let's be honest. He was never tabbed as a first-round guy. He didn't look good. He physically just showed up. He didn't look horrible. He didn't look anything like you'd expect the defensive player of the year in the SEC to look like. 19 tackles for loss, 11.5 sacks. Almost all of those sacks, I think, except 3.5 or 4, came against SEC opponents. Doesn't matter who they are, still SEC opponents. You're productive like that in the best conference in college football. You got to watch the film on this guy. Not everybody's a workout warrior. Yes, he did. He looked soft. Didn't look explosive. Didn't run a fast 40. But Johnny Manziel didn't look good either. Didn't look the part. Was short. Wasn't as big as people thought he would be. Didn't run as fast as people thought he would be. But the eye in the sky doesn't lie. Watch the film on these guys.
Here's the problem, though, Doug. Out of all those production, he had a great burst. He had a great month. He had 9 of his 11.5 sacks came in 3 out of 4 game stretch. It all came in one big spot, and then he was erased pretty much for the second half of the season. So, yes, he had a great burst, a great overall year. He was keyed on. But, again, it's not about what happened this year. It's about the combine, and does he look like an NFL player?
It is about what happened this year. It's the SEC. He did it in the SEC when everyone thinks the best conference.
He kind of did. As the season
went
on,
Player of the year in the best conference. He'll play in the NFL.
All right, Michael Sam's a name. Here's another one. Justin Ernest from Eastern Kentucky. Remember that name?
Justin Ernest.
51 reps in the bench press 15 years ago. Never played a single down in the NFL. Few who had a great combine, but their game won't translate to the NFL.
I've tried. Last year, I made E.J. Manuel into the first quarterback taken in the draft. Why? Because he had all the tools, he had the smarts, he had the intangibles, the leadership ability. I've tried with Logan Thomas. I have spent the last few years saying Logan Thomas, with his size and his ability and his athleticism, he should be a top quarterback. And he looked like it in Indianapolis. He had the best workout of any quarterback at the combine. A 4.61 40, 35.5-inch vertical, almost 10 inches in the vertical jump. He was quick. His arm was great. 6'6", 248 pounds with 11-inch hands. He was the perfect prototype, except for there's one problem, going back to Doug's point. Look at the tape. He's bad at playing college football. You check off every box except for one. Playing football, unchecked. He's bad at it. He turns the ball over too much. He couldn't complete half his passes. He looked lost way too often. Now, if you're a quarterback coach, you want to take this guy and you want to say, look, 3 to 4 years from now, maybe we've got something here. But he had an awesome combine. It just doesn't translate to the tape.
All right, you might not know Ernest's name, but you know Tom Brady, Donald Driver, Shannon Sharp, all guys who late-round pickups, late-draft gems. Doug, who had an underwhelming combine, but you think will have success in the NFL?
I'll tell you who ran a slow 40, didn't look the greatest, is KaDeem Carey. Runs a 4.7. He's still the best back to me in this entire class of running backs coming out. He didn't look the greatest out there running a 40, but he ran for 1,800 yards, 19 rush TDs last year, 26 receptions, was not held under 100 yards the entire year. Yeah, some guys ran faster 40s, but they're not better running backs than KaDeem Carey. He can block. He catches the ball well. He has game speed. You see him against USC. He can take it the distance. You don't got to bring him off the field on third down. Yes, Carlos Hyde is a bigger back. Carlos Hyde doesn't catch as well as KaDeem Carey. Jeremy Hill's a bigger back. Dree Archer is a faster back, but he can't do between the tackles what KaDeem Carey did. Don't fall in love with the 40. Giovanni Bernard ran a 4.5. He had the best rookie season out of all the running backs last year. He's going to be a fantastic NFL player.
4.5.
He's the type of guy. KaDeem Carey is the same type of back, compact, can do it all. Wait till you watch the film. He'll be a fine pro.
4.7 just ran himself
He'll be
right
a
in the
fine
fourth
pro.
round. He just ran himself fast,
All
really
running-
fast out of that
all
second
run-
round.
All running backs, the value of the
Can't do a
position, the
4.7.
value of the position has gone down. So he wasn't going to go in the first round. Probably no backs probably will, but he's still the best back in this entire draft class.
Well, there's always room on a team for a good back.
Who's a better back? Who's better?
Carlos Hyde, Jeremy Hill,
out of
Jay
here.
Mason. He blew a tire, but still, he's sorry. He's the better back.
I'm not entertaining that.
Too slow. You can't be a speed back and run a 4.7. Not in my NFL.
Emmitt Smith ran a 4.6. He did pretty good for himself. What do you think?